Hey everyone, it's Pal Ponder on Weather coming to you live here. It is around noon on Thursday, and we've got some severe weather to talk about that's going to happen in today. The good thing is it's actually kind of died down a little bit. It doesn't look as bad as it did yesterday. So that is definitely a good thing. I mean, I know I did my video this morning. We had 92 tornado warnings out yesterday. The last count, I'm looking at the latest NOAA. They're still doing preliminary, damage control. But yeah, there were 27 tornadoes yesterday so far confirmed. That was up from 24 this morning. So it was definitely an active day. And hey, I appreciate you guys coming on with me. Hello, Annabelle. How are you doing? Hey, Daniel. Heddleman, BC. How's it going? So I was wanting to give you kind of an update. It's not going to be nearly as active as it was yesterday. So that is good. And then as active as it was yesterday with back-to-back PDS watches over a 15-hour span. Fortunately, there was, as of last I heard, there was not one loss of life with all that. So that was excellent news. Kudos to all the National Weather Service and everybody out there, giving everybody plenty of heads up of advanced warning that these storms were coming, and they were able to take shelter and not of course be out of harm's way. So that is definitely a good thing. But so I wanted to come on board and go live here and kind of give you an update on what's actually happening today. So it's like I said, it's not going to be nearly as active as I'm kind of getting my bearings here, today. So I was going to be on for maybe an hour or so and kind of give you a heads up, kind of give you some of the parameters. And hey, Muggsy, how are you doing? Hello from southeastern Ohio. Good to see you on here. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you watching. Yeah, I was getting set up. I didn't realize people could actually see me live already or not, but I guess I was in the queue kind of waiting to go live. All right, so let me go over the latest outlook. The Storm Prediction Center, they had just updated this, and the good thing is they actually took away the moderate risk for severe weather right here in the Carolinas. So now they had lowered it to an enhanced risk, but it's still pretty severe. I mean, so later on today, they have an enhanced risk for severe weather in Charlotte, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, Durham, Savannah, Georgia, as well as Fayetteville, North Carolina, and then a slight chance of severe weather extending into Jacksonville, going into Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Virginia, getting into Greensboro, as well as Chesapeake, Virginia, and then just a slight risk of a marginal risk of severe weather extending all the way down to the coast into Florida, where they're going to be impacted from these storms approaching here shortly into Tampa, as well as St. Petersburg. So there is going to be some severe weather, but we're not seeing the high risk. We're not seeing the PDS watches today. So there's definitely going to be some severe weather, but luckily it's not going to be nearly as bad as it was yesterday. It looks like it's going to miss Charlotte. Yeah. So what we're seeing is basically there's the cold front, right? I mean, the cold front is moving to the east, and it's all about timing with severe weather. So the cold front is actually catching up with the instability. So and there's also some colder air coming in from the north that we kind of highlighted yesterday, coming in from this polar air here. You can definitely see it's cold. I mean, when it's in the single digits into Canada right now, and that colder air is pressing southward into the northeast. So I do think you're almost at your highs of the day into the northeast, and a lot of this is rain right now. But as this comes up and we go into the overnight tonight, getting in tomorrow morning, I still feel like this cold air will continue to press, and we'll probably see a little bit of a changeover to snow maybe like a 3 to 6 hour period. It's not going to be a very long snow event or at all anything like that. But I do think with the timing of the day, overnight tonight, getting into tomorrow morning into the Northeast, right around here, a lot of the short range mesoscale models have already kind of hinted at this, that we could have a changeover into, say southern PA, getting into parts of Jersey, New York, but especially into over here in Connecticut and Massachusetts area, Rhode Island, along the Cape here. I do feel like there could be a changeover. And as this continues to press southward with this cold air damming on the east side of the Appalachians, I even feel like we could have a little changeover to, this is all going to be wet snow. It's not going to be probably sticking at all or anything like that, but a little bit of a changeover here into parts of the Virginias. I mean, yesterday this was extending further north. I mean, so they're actually shrinking this as the newest updates are actually coming in. So these are all good things. It doesn't look as bad as it was yesterday, and we have a current tornado watch currently happening right now between now and 5 o'clock for down here to the south here. But there's no tornado warnings currently right now. If we kind of zoom into that area, there's no active tornado warnings currently right now. And that actually expires at 5 o'clock. And based on the latest Storm Prediction Center of the outlook, that'll get extended into the Carolinas here later on today. So I do feel like the Carolinas is going to be a little bit more transitioning to more of a night event again, as these 70s will really kind of take shape. So where it's cooled off, I mean, obviously you're past the severe threat. So if we let's just extend out and kind of show you the big picture of what's happening here. Here's I know I got people coming in from all over the nation. So here we got along the coast here, we got 40s down here in the Pacific Northwest. I know Ohio's checking in. We're in the 40s, just a kind of a chillier rain for you guys up there. It's backed off to 52 now. I mean, yesterday morning it was at 72 in Dallas. So that's a good 20-degree drop from what you were experiencing just yesterday. So that's what's happening. I mean, the trough has come across, and it's where it's passed. It's it's pretty dry. You got drier air back behind it. The dew points have dropped, and you're definitely seeing the cooler temperatures in a big way. I mean, we're in the 40s here, and parts of getting into parts of Tennessee already. So that's what's happening. The cooler temperatures are kind of filtering in, and where it's back in the 70s here, that's where your severe threat is kind of hanging on, kind of for dear life, more or less. But after today, I mean, it's going to look nice. I mean, this will clear out later on today, and then on the back side where you're experiencing some of these cooler temperatures, that will extend, all the way to the coast. So it's going to be nice after this clears out. And then, like I mentioned, by tomorrow, you're just going to be kind of impacted from a short, quick snowstorm into the Northeast, as we'll see a several hour window, maybe a 3 to 6 hour window changeover to a snow into the Northeast. And this will all kind of move out, and the precipitation will move out, the snow will move out, and then even you will be cooler temperatures. So, hey, Stoneman, how you doing? Yeah, it looks like it's going to miss Charlotte. No, I don't think it's going to miss. I definitely don't think it's going to miss Charlotte. No, for sure, it's not going to miss Charlotte. It's just it just hadn't gotten here yet. It hasn't gotten to Charlotte. I mean, it depends on how fast this moves, but I mean, it's back here at 57. It's definitely cooler temperatures, but I don't really think it actually misses it. But we're not seeing any active tornado warnings. Not like yesterday. I mean, yesterday was crazy. I mean, at times I was on here, I think at most we had 8 tornado warnings happening almost at the exact same time. So it was a lot to keep up with yesterday with everything happening in Mississippi and Alabama and parts of Georgia. But it's a lot quieter so far. But I do think things are probably going to ramp up again later on this afternoon, and then getting into tonight where it kind of taps into more of an enhanced risk. Right now, the tornado watch is under that slight risk assessment currently right now, and so you have a chance for tornadoes, but taken from what it was yesterday, it's not as high. I mean, we're talking a 5% chance. I mean, yesterday we had almost up to a 45% chance. So you can definitely tell the difference, from a 5% to a 45% on how active. I mean, yesterday was more of an extreme day. I mean, it's very rare do you see such an extreme day as what we've been through yesterday. I mean, it was the first high risk in 2 years. And then Storm Prediction Center, they don't take those things lightly. It's very hard for them to put out a high risk, but they only do that when they know a lot of lives are at stake if they don't, because they try not to cause panic out there for say. But they had a PDS watch, so even a PDS watch is very rare. So that when they issue those PDS watches, that's rare territory. I mean, they know that the atmosphere is prime and capable of doing large destructive damage. And the National Weather Service is still out there doing their damage control and doing all those surveys, and the storm reports are coming in. So right now we're at 27 storms, and I do feel that will probably add to that after they assess all the damage that's taken place over the next several days. So typically in times like this, it could take a couple of days. What's happening today and what's going to be probably happening tomorrow, and we probably won't know the final number until probably sometime Monday into Tuesday. I would imagine some of these could take a week at times after they properly assess all the damage. Is it going to be a few more weeks before gardening planting season? What is your prediction of the last frost here in Ohio? Well, Ohio, it gets cold, this weekend, but a lot of the troughs are going to be setting up out west. I mean, out in the Pacific Northwest. So you're definitely going to be probably warming up with your above average anomalies, going into next week. So I mean, you're getting to one of those times the colder temperatures are predominantly going to over the next week or two. Besides tomorrow into the Northeast, we're going to have that quick cool down, but you're going to rapidly probably warm up. I mean, most of the colder weather is at least the more below normal anomaly weather going into next week will be predominantly into the Pacific Northwest, where they're going to have troughs digging in and really setting up. There's probably going to be another snowstorm for Denver by the time we get into next week, and there could be even some more snow that's going to be diving down into the Texas Panhandle. So a lot of ways, what you saw this week, it's almost, I wouldn't say identical setup, but we have another trough that's going to be coming in from the Pacific Northwest on Monday. That's going to bring some colder temperatures, and then it's going to extend and then probably bring some more snow for Denver, probably bring some more snow for the Texas Panhandle, maybe not as much, but at least some snow for the Texas Panhandle. And then that'll have the atmosphere kind of regroup and, have it warm up again for the southeast, and probably be looking at maybe a potential severe, I don't want to say outbreak this far in advance, but at least severe weather for say Dallas, and that'll extend possibly into Tuesday into the southeast, and then eventually go off like what we're talking about now by Thursday. So it's in a lot of ways it's almost kind of follows sort of the same path. I can't say exactly it's going to be sort of the same destruction, but in a lot of ways you have troughs coming in from the Pacific Northwest and then extending throughout the week. So, oh, absolutely, I'll be covering hurricane season for sure. Yeah, and I already put out one of my forecasts probably about 3 weeks ago. I posted a video on it. Currently, right now, I'm thinking 16 to 20 systems this year, which would be probably more likely in the top five of the most active seasons on record. So I am expecting an active season. What we're experiencing now is we're transitioning to a little bit of an end zone neutral, more of a weak end zone neutral pattern for another couple of months. But I do think the La Nina comes back and deepens further as we go into summer, and that's going to create a little bit of our hotter summer. I'm expecting a pretty warm and if not hot summer in a lot of places. And then I do feel like the La Nina will continue to deepen into more of a moderate type La Nina as we get deeper into hurricane season, as we transition into, say, August, September, and October. And that's why I feel like by that time, we'll be ramping up again for another active season and into the tropics. So, yeah, absolutely. I'll be covering the tropics in a big way. I know I did it a lot last season, but yeah, I'll be covering the tropics a lot. I mean, usually I do a daily video in the mornings. I'll upload my daily video, and sometimes I'll do an afternoon video if I need to, if there's a lot going on. And typically during tropical season, you've got what's happening in the U.S. and then also obviously you have what's happening in the tropics as well. So there's a lot to talk about, because that brings a whole new section into the Caribbean and then the tropics, and then of course you still got all your weather that's happening in the United States. So, hey Kathy, how are you doing? Hey, I appreciate you watching on here. So so let's kind of expand the view, and let's see what the big picture of what's happening. We've got we got some rain just south of Chicago. That's just little showers coming in off the Ohio Valley, with a chillier rain for the Mid-Atlantic in the Northeast. We've got pretty crystal clear. I mean, it was pretty active most of the week out here. And so as that trough has moved across, it's cleared everything out. And that's the same thing that's going to happen by tomorrow off the East Coast. Everything's going to be cleared out. And they're going to be experiencing some of those cooler temperatures of what everybody else is experiencing. I mean, even holding on strong in Los Angeles at 55. So that's still some colder temperatures. And like I kind of hinted at, I do feel like predominantly going forward over the next, say 2 weeks, besides, some cool down tomorrow in the Northeast, but predominantly your more below average anomalies are going to be in the Pacific Northwest, as we're seeing troughs come down that favor the West Coast, and that'll bring the colder temperatures, or those below those below average anomalies into the West. And then by the time they make it to the Southeast, and then especially into the Northeast, they will fade and moderate. So I would actually say, you're going to be overall above average in your eastern part, and then, below average in your western part, more or less. Hey, hey, no problem. I'm here to help. I'm glad. Yeah, come with all your questions. I know I was doing, a hint to say severe weather coverage, and I do want to talk about it, but right now there's actually not much going on, so that's good. So I'll definitely take all your questions. Any questions that you might have, I'll be happy to answer them for you. No problem. Yeah. So yeah, if we zoom back in, like I mentioned, the only activity right now is we have a current tornado watch happening at the moment. And like I mentioned, there's not actually there's not a tornado warning going on. There's actually not even a severe thunderstorm warning happening right now. So this is all a good sign. I'm still expecting things to occur, but currently at this moment, there's nothing to be too concerned about, or any pressing at the moment that you have to take cover for, or anything like that. So that is definitely always a good sign. But you can see, as we're getting into more of the afternoon, we got warm temperatures down in Florida. Of course, it's hard for them to cool off, but they're going to be experiencing some of those cooler temperatures as well. So in my morning video, I posted a lot of the low temperatures I felt like that were going to be coming up over the next we'll say 5 to 7 days. And like I mentioned, as this system moves across by tomorrow, you're going to be waking up with some much cooler temperatures into the southeast, and back in the 40s for much of the southeast for your low temperatures, which is a far cry from what you were experiencing. What you're seeing right now in the 70s for your afternoon temperatures. You'll be back into the 50s and 60s tomorrow. So that'll be definitely cooler temperatures, probably a 10 to 15, if not almost 20-degree drop. We don't say the C word. What was the C word? What was the C word I said? Oh, cold. So yeah, cooler or cold. Yeah, I know. People move to Florida for a reason, because they want to get out of the cold. So I understand that. Cool. Yes. Yeah. So yes, definitely. I guess, it depends on, they say, well, hey, is it going to be cold in Florida? It's like, well, there's the Florida Panhandle, then there's Miami. So you can have a lot of different weather in the Florida Panhandle than in Miami. The same way when people ask me, it's, hey, is it going to snow again in Texas? Well, yeah. Well, Texas is a big state. I mean, is it going to be the Panhandle? And no, it's not going to snow in Brownsville. So yeah, I mean, it's, how do I answer that? It's like, yeah, well, it's going to snow in the Panhandle, but that's where it's going to stop. But yeah, and then they're still experiencing some of the cooler temperatures. So yeah, no, I understand. But so yeah, to answer your question, it is going to be let's see, not as warm, not as warm as it has been in Florida. So do you know how many more tornadoes happened from last Sunday storms from Texas and Oklahoma? Yes, there were 17. There were 17 tornadoes from that Panhandle event. It's the last I heard, unless they've added any more of it yesterday. But yeah, when they had the Saturday outbreak into Sunday, that was 17, and then of course they had the snow, the blizzard in Amarillo yesterday, which was basically 5 days later. So, and like I mentioned, I actually think they're actually going to get some more snow coming in by the time, I don't know, we'll say Wednesday time frame of next week. By the time that trough actually makes it all the way down and dumps more snow into Denver, by the time it dumps more snow into New Mexico, and then it'll get into far extremes of the Texas Panhandle, even portions, say, into far extremes West Texas, could see some snow by then, but nothing past that. It quickly dies off, and they'll see the cooler temperatures and the colder rain, but definitely no snow, as you say, get into Dallas or anything like that. How does the tornado outlook look like for today? Like I mentioned, right now, currently they're in a tornado watch down here by the south into this highlighted area by Jacksonville, going into parts of Georgia here. And then I do feel like the tornado watch will probably be extended after this one expires at 5 o'clock. But they have lowered the risk. I mean, some of these areas along the coast here were in a moderate risk for severe weather. In the latest update, they've actually downgraded it to an enhanced, and they've shrunk the enhanced as well. So it's not we're not seeing nearly as the amount of severe weather coverage as we're obviously seeing what was forecasted even for yesterday. and even the slight risk is of has shrunk as well. And then currently, right now, we don't even though we do have a tornado watch, but we currently don't have any active warnings or out there as well. So North Dakota is sunny, warm, and calm, windy today. Hope all is well. Yeah, North Dakota. Let's go to North Dakota here, and um, yeah, up in North Dakota, it's 40 degrees. They're experiencing in the 40s and fairly calm. Like I said, for most of the nation, like I said, with that trough coming in from west to east, you've calmed down. So you're kind of in that transition zone, more or less. So that hello, shout out my name. Now you're gonna make me try to pronounce that name. Abhiski, Ab Ab Abhiski. Is that how you pronounce it correctly? I hope. I know I probably butchered your name. I'm sorry. Habishki Shaha. So yeah, I'm thinking yeah, probably that's the latest outlook huge for the rest of the afternoon for the tornado outlook later on today. Paddle pusher. Wow, pal. Hey, Annabelle. Yeah, I'm going back here. Make sure I didn't forget anybody. Hey, Daniel. Go watch Justin Dustin reacts video real quick. I'll be. Oh, you're going to go watch that. Cool. Cape and energy is shrinking. Yeah, absolutely. That's the trend, Lane. It looks like definitely not as severe as it was looking yesterday. With even with the update this morning at 7:48. Usually the Storm Prediction Center updates overnight, and then they update again around 7:30, and then they just updated again around 11:30. And every single time they've updated, they've shrunk the severe threat later on in the day. So it's definitely not looking at nearly as intense. And what's basically what I've been kind of talking about is the colder air is entering the picture, and not only from the central U.S. and to the east, but even from the north, a little bit in the upper levels, kind of sneaking in and kind of mix it in and lowering some of that severe threat for later on the day. So these are all kind of good signs that we're actually seeing, especially what everybody went through yesterday. So it doesn't look nearly as intense as it was looking at this time yesterday. Remember we were talking about a huge swath of a moderate risk of severe weather, and they have since downgraded that to an enhanced risk, and they've even shrunk the enhanced risk, and they've shrunken the slight risk as well, and all because of what Lane has mentioning, just the energy in the atmosphere has decreased. So there's just not as much fuel to the fire, more or less, to tap into as it. A lot of times it takes more than just warm temperatures. It takes more than just dew points. It takes a lot of the ingredients to come together at the right time to fuel storms of the magnitude that we were talking about yesterday. And so they're still going to happen. They're just not going to be as many, and they're not going to be as intense as it was looking like for yesterday. What about Shelby, Charlotte area? Are we in the clear? No, Charlotte is still under that enhanced risk. You're almost on the borderline here, but you're still going to be under that enhanced risk. I do feel like your threat comes later on this evening, so we'll see if the trend holds, because you're literally in the borderline. So you got 50s out here to the west of you. So if that colder air, sneaks in a little bit faster, then by the time this instability taps into itself, then yeah, you will probably, almost be in the clear. But we can't make that call as of this moment, because you're literally almost on the borderline of it still happening. But it definitely looks like the trend is going there, that you might not have the threat as what is implied right now from the Storm Prediction Center. So, because this still has a ways away to get to you, and so you may be in the clear. Thank you so much. It was very funny for me, but you pronounced it correctly. My surname, Saha. I am from India. Oh, cool. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. A line of storms is getting closer to Charlotte, so time is coming soon. Yeah, so that way, this is the storms that we're that you're talking about here. This is getting into places Greenville here and Greenwood. So, and it's already kind of past Asheville. So these are the storms that we're kind of keeping an eye on for Charlotte. It's still it's kind of still a ways away, but it'll be. Oh, there's Shelby. Okay, so you're not that far away then from these storms, but they don't look too bad. I mean, there's actually not many reds and even any yellows and oranges and stuff. These don't look terribly too bad at the moment. And back behind it, these are the temperatures they're faced with is 50s. So it's going to be hard for severe weather to tap into that. But as you get into the 60s here, you're fairly warm enough for enough energy. So it'll be a close call, but maybe Shelby, but probably less likely Charlotte as it kind of gets your way. But yeah, so we're definitely noticing a downward trend and severe activity for sure. So these are all good signs as the atmosphere is kind of a change in a big way yesterday. So it was definitely rare to see back-to-back, really, really big days like they were hinting at yesterday. So they might have, pulled the trigger too much, and especially on the Thursday event, like what we're seeing now earlier on, because they were even 2 days ago they were calling enhanced risk along this area, and even on the 4-day outlook they were. I mean, typically on 4 days out they were calling for an enhanced risk, which is rare in itself, and that usually signifies it's going to be a fairly significant day. But as things are coming together and as it's getting closer, it's not looking as likely. I forecast weather too. Oh, cool. Awesome, Lane. You are an amazing weather guy, and keep it up. I will keep watching even through school. Awesome. I appreciate your support. Yeah, good luck out there tracking the weather. I always love weather guys. It's been a passion of mine for many years. I'm a true weather geek at heart. So anybody that has a passion for the weather, I'm all in for it, because it's one of those things that's always fascinated me, all my life. And so yeah, anybody that has a true passion for the weather is someone that's that I really like and really like to follow. And I appreciate you following me. Hey, Jesus, how are you doing? I'm in Florida. Anything severe for Orlando? So let's go back to Orlando. Hey, Annabelle. Hey, I appreciate it. You're so awesome. I appreciate your support. Thanks for the donation there and the super chat. Just a little thanks for doing the live broadcast. Looking forward to hurricane season. Yeah, no problem. They actually came out yesterday and they actually announced that they are no longer doing the Greek alphabet. So they eliminated that from the aspect of using that for names. So that will not be in the equation for next year. And so, but they have decided, even though the season is still technically going to, they're technically still going to start on June the 1st, but they decided on May 15th, they will start issuing advisories out 2 weeks earlier, basically to be more in line with the Eastern Pacific, because over the last 10 years, we actually had 10 storms that actually formed before June the 1st. So that's why they went ahead and said, hey, we're going to be giving advisories, because even right now, if something forms, they don't technically give advisories out ahead of time because it's technically not hurricane season, right? And so there could be storms that pop up in April, but they're actually not going to be issuing like advanced like 20% warnings, 40% warnings out ahead of time because they won't be making daily updates on it. But they will actually, start doing that 2 weeks earlier. So that's not that actually far away. We're talking 2 months. 2 months we'll be talking about hurricane season all over again, and of course it goes through November, so it lasts for extended period of time. And obviously last year it lasted almost to the end there in November. So it was a really active time, almost the most active as it got towards the end in October and November. So, hey, Emily, how are you doing? Hi from North Carolina. How's it looking for over there? Yeah, North Carolina is still, that's the one that's going to be under the gun for, that's the most significant severe weather threat. Later on the day, we do have an enhanced risk for severe weather for a good chunk of North Carolina. So we're going to be looking at storms entering the picture later on this afternoon, getting into the evening, as right now we're kind of just watching this band approaching the Shelby and the Charlotte area here, and that will just keep extending as it's tapping into some of these warmer temperatures. So as we get into a little bit more of the daytime heating, these temperatures will increase several degrees, and as the system keeps pressing off to the east here, that'll tap into some of that energy, and that's why the Storm Prediction Center feels like there will be a little bit more of an enhanced risk, and that's where the highest tornado is threat is as well in that area. Let's look at the latest. Yeah, so they even lowered it down. Parts of the area was a 10%, was a 15% this morning, but yeah, parts of Charlotte, Raleigh, getting into Durham, getting into parts of Savannah, Georgia, those areas into Fayetteville, those areas have a 10% chance today of seeing possibly an isolated tornado happening within this zone. So you're definitely not out of the clear, especially in North Carolina. That's the area that you really have to be a little bit more concerned about later on this afternoon. We do have a current tornado watch down here to the south. It's just actively right now. Let's see. Now that I mentioned it, let's see. This looks like we have a warning here. Let me zoom in. Yeah, so we have a severe thunderstorm warning that just issued. That was at 1:28, which is 12:38 East Central Time. At 1:28 Central Eastern Standard Time, a severe thunderstorm was located near Jamestown, or 8 miles northwest of Blackshear. That's moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. So a lot of the speed that was happening yesterday, the wind gusts are up to 60 miles an hour possible with this storm. There's less than 1 inch hail to its locations, and the path are Patterson, Screven, Offerman, Jamestown, and Bristol. So those are the areas that are going to be in the path. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 2:15 Eastern Time, which is another 45 minutes from now, for Central Pierce, southwestern Wayne, and southeastern Appling counties. Storm Prediction Centers will continue to cut off the risk after the lines move through show the instability. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, it's a continuing threat of less and less instability out there, and so that's the trend that we're seeing as we're moving into the afternoon. What's the data on ash-fed storms as far as charged material and particles enhancement? Just curious. I don't know. I'm not understanding that question. Do you think the Benson, North Carolina will get warned storm? Just a guess. Benson. let's zoom in here because it looks like there's a possible tornado with this storm now that was under the severe thunderstorm warning now. That's moving off to the northeast, and locations in the path are Jessup as well as Wartherville areas. These are moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. It's is it clicking on it? Yeah, so it's moving northeast at 51 miles an hour. There is a possible tornado within this system. I would say it's around this area right in here where you're seeing a little bit of a hook on the radar. That's probably where your tornado is possibly at right now. That's lifting off to Screven area. So if you're in the Screven area, do take cover right now in the Screven area because we do have a possible tornado that's going into your direction, lifting northeast at 50 miles an hour. So it'll be on your doorstep probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So do go in your safe place currently at the moment, and that will extend just into the Jessup area as well. So as this continues lifting off into the northeast, and then that'll get into parts of southern portions of Hinesville as well. So that is what's your YouTube channel average RPM this month? Please answer me. I haven't looked lately. It fluctuates. Hey, Jesus, how are you doing? Any tornado watches near Eastleigh, South Carolina? So yes. Yeah, so there is that possible tornado that is either radar indicated or this looks like it's a radar indicated possible tornado that happening currently right now. That's lifting off to the northeast at 51 miles an hour. It is heading towards the Screven areas, and that will continue moving through the Jessup area. And as will continue lifting off into the northeast, that'll probably be near and around the areas of Montgomery over the next probably 45 minutes. So you have to watch the cell as the daytime heating is starting to heat up a little bit, and so we're tapping into a little bit more of the instability. So that's some of these cells are popping up and turning severe. Waiting patiently in Denver, North Carolina. What city's Denver, North Carolina next to? Yeah, that cell moved pretty quick. Yeah, that line of storms was booking it. Yeah, these things are moving quick. Yeah, 50 miles an hour. They can cover a lot of real estate in a fairly big way. It's already on top of us here, that line of storms that we were looking at earlier on in the broadcast. Maiden and Morrisville. Maiden and Morrisville. Okay. All right. So yeah. So for you guys in North Carolina, those are the areas that need to be the most concerned about at the moment as these cells move through. So let's click on this. There's another new tornado warning down here to the south. That one's moving at 36 miles an hour. That's also an indicated tornado on radar. That's also lifting off into the northeast. Places in that path. You're looking at getting into Fort White as well as Crosby here and Horseshoe Bay. That's down here. Sorry, let me zoom out here. Yeah, we're down in the Florida region. So that's approaching Gainesville. Yeah, this is a radar indicated tornado that's lifting off to the northeast at 36 miles an hour in Cross City, heading towards Bell, as well as the Branford area, getting into High Springs for the next, this is between now and 12:45. So by the time it reaches High Springs, just in the next 5 minutes, this is again another radar indicated tornado as this cell looks to turn severe at the moment as this continues lifting off into the northeast, heading into portions south of the Lake City area, as well as Lake Butler. So if you're in those areas, you need to take shelter until the storm passes, as this is a radar indicated tornado that's happening currently, lifting off into the northeast at 36 miles an hour. Many storms will get organized, but not much severe. Just saying. I forgot who said it, but you shouldn't worry about a 5 mile difference. Yeah, when the storms move that quick, I mean, it's 5 miles is not much difference between a slight or enhanced risk. Yeah, the risk, basically the only difference between slight and enhanced is essentially the amount of possibility of tornadoes within that point. So that's how they depict if it's going to be slight or enhanced or high, is the amount within, say, a 25-mile radius of a certain point. So enhanced would have more storms within that 25-mile radius in a certain point, and then slight would have basically less than a certain point. It doesn't have anything to do with, say, intensity potential of the storm. It just talks about the amount that you're going to possibly see within that certain point of, say, that enhanced risk. So that's how they look at it. Today, the SPC is cutting down each risk after the front moves through. So the difference between a marginal and a slight or enhanced is correct. Difference cooling down. Yeah, so it's definitely cooling down. So we're going to see a transition day. There's storms out ahead of it, but once those cooler temperatures hit, and once that the severe threat will die down in a big way, and that's basically what we've been seeing across the board. Even when it started in Dallas or early yesterday morning, we're seeing the cooler temperatures. Once those storms pass, we're definitely seeing the colder temperatures back behind it. So as we're kind of zooming out here, looking at portions of the Southeast where they were experiencing, the 70s yesterday, like they're experiencing now, and to the off the East Coast, that they're already in the 40s, in the 50s. So this is a 20-degree drop that most are feeling the difference as the system moves across. So yeah, so currently right now we do have one active tornado warning currently at this moment, and that's one that's radar indicated, and there's a possible tornado possible, and that one's lifted off. These are all essentially lifted off into the northeast, and that one's moving at 56 miles an hour. So you can definitely see these things are moving quick, and you have almost little to no warning when these things come through, as they spin up on radar induced tornadoes. And then there's storm spotters out there trying to get confirmation that it may be reaching the ground, because a lot of times what you may see on radar is just maybe radar indicated, or sometimes these get kind of rain wrapped, or they're obscure from vision, or they can't get a visual lowering, or that's, hey, it's got confirmation that it's actually touched the ground. So this is a radar induced tornado. So, but you can definitely see we have a lot of instability right around that area, and this again lifting off to the northeast, heading exactly in the beeline towards the Jessup area and to Hinesville, as well as eventually get into Montgomery. And I would imagine this will just continue lifting off into the northeast, eventually getting into portions of the Savannah area, as well as Tybee Island. I've been to Tybee. I've been to Tybee Island. So that over there along the coast there. So that that'll be in your neck of the woods probably here shortly in the next 30 minutes as this is traveling pretty fast at a really good clip at 56 miles an hour. So this is, you can see it's these are hitting the coastline here as that colder those colder temperatures are on the backside as this is lifting off into the northeast. As we kind of zoom out, you can see Savannah's in line, Hilton Head over here. So there's 2 cells that now have popped up recently. You can see in the next few hours, the SPC will continue to shrink their risk and lower the risk because of the colder air. Yeah, that's definitely what I mean. I agree. That's definitely what we're seeing here. The trend is definitely going down on the severe threat. Wilson is not safe right now. Southeast Wilson. I might have worded it wrong or something. What's happening in Eastleigh, South Carolina? Myrtle Beach. Oh, there's Columbia. Yeah, it looks like it's heading your way, but there's not much activity happening right now in Eastleigh. You're still under that enhanced risk, so it just hasn't made it to your area. Reports of 2.86 hail in Illinois. But that might have been earlier. Yeah, so not currently, but earlier. Yeah, that's some huge hail. That's baseball size hail. That would do some serious damage to whatever that hit. Cars, houses, rooftops. Yeah, that would do definitely some serious damage. Yes, it is a cold front. There's definitely cooler air behind it. You can definitely see the cooler temperatures behind the front. So this is a definite cold front that's moving through. Jacksonville, it just hasn't made it to Jacksonville yet. So yeah, most of North Carolina is under severe threat. Here's Jacksonville. So it'll be this later on this evening. So it's a pretty good distance from you currently right now. Everything's well down south of Savannah, Georgia. So it's got a lot of real estate to travel by the time it gets to you. But you're definitely going to be in the enhanced risk, and I don't see that changing because you're well off the coast here. So you're going to be under the gun for that severe threat later on this evening. So you have all modes of possibles: tornadoes, hail, high winds later on this evening. So I would imagine you getting closer into nighttime. Going into more of the more in the nighttime. You're good. You're probably a good 6-8 hours away into Jacksonville. 36 degrees in southern Missouri and snow predicted. I know it snowed some in Kansas City. It did snow because that was the same system that rolled across the panhandle of Texas, and that lifted northeast. So they did have some wet snow in Kansas City, Missouri. And that was winding down this morning into in Kansas and parts of Missouri as well. Let's go into Missouri here. Yeah, there's Columbia. I mean, look at the temperatures. I mean, it's 36 degrees. There could be, you're seeing maybe a tad bit of changeover here into Montgomery City, into Bowling Green, these areas into Quincy. But it looks like a very, very wet snow. If any of this is snow, it's very, very wet. So it might be, falling in the sky, but then obviously melting on contact. Hey, Scott, NYC, how are you doing? Thanks for watching. Looks like temperatures in the enhanced are skyrocketing. Instability is growing. You're streaming for a while, right, pal? I'll be on to, yeah, I mean, I plan on it for at least a couple hours. I know I got to pick up my son. I do have to pick up my son at 3:15 from school, and I have a soccer game tonight. So I'll be on as long as I can. I play soccer on Thursday night. And so I do have, it's an adult league I play in, and we have a soccer game every Thursday. But yeah, my boys are in school until 3:15. So I know I have to leave. I know I have to leave by then to pick them up. And then I have a soccer game tonight. But I will definitely be on as long as I can. Hey, you're welcome. No problem, Scott. Hey, thanks for watching. Oh, it looks like I got 100 people watching me. Cool. Hey, hello, everyone. Yeah, a couple hours. It looks like a couple hours. Yeah, so we're going into the East Coast we're almost 2:00 in the afternoon, so we're approaching getting into a little bit more the warmer part of the day. I mean, it's 77 degrees. It jumped up another couple degrees. So not looking good here in Raleigh area. The sun is starting to come out. Yeah, so those are things like you mentioned, Thelron. Yeah, there's you don't want to see this. You don't want to see the sun and times like this. That just creates more instability in the atmosphere. And the warmer we get these temperatures at ahead of the storms, then that's just going to create more fuel to the fire as it has a lot more energy to tap into. And May, oh, my favorite weather channel. Thank you for all the work you do. Keep us informed. Hey, you're welcome. I appreciate you watching. Lathina, hi from Idaho. Thanks for watching from Idaho. Yeah, not looking good in Wilson. So yeah, you can definitely see the temps have actually risen several degrees from what we've actually been experiencing. I think we've been on for about an hour now live, watching these storms, and we're definitely seeing the temperatures rise as we're going to more of the heating of the day. I mean, it's fairly clear in North Carolina here, so we're not seeing any rain or anything like that. So it's definitely, these temps are increasing as it's taking advantage of the daytime heating. But yeah, looking at the latest model guidance, a lot of this clears out later on today. By 6:00, it's still fairly warm, but the storm should start pushing in. The cold front starts moving in kind of later on this evening, getting into the overnight. But by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, a lot of you guys out here will be in the 40s for much of the southeast into Georgia and parts of Virginia as well, and even as we get into the Ohio Valley, you'll be extended into the 30s and if not the 20s in a lot of places. So yeah, the weather's going to be feeling really nice after today. We just have to get through. We have to just get through this severe threat the rest of today and into the evening. But by tomorrow, things will be your high temperatures tomorrow, and to much of the southeast. I mean, we're looking at possibly 60s, 50s, and 60s in Georgia, and even parts of in the 40s and into Virginia, as we've got colder air not only pressing in from the west, but we also have some chillier air pressing in from the north. So the temps hang on to 70s in Florida by tomorrow, but by the time we wake up into Saturday morning, we're even down in the Florida, we'll be experiencing temps in the 50s. So that's we got definitely some colder air on the table, as we go into the first day of spring. So the first day of spring on the 20th is going to feel pretty cold in a lot of places, especially in the morning time. How come cold never gets to Florida? Silly goose. Well, I mean, it's getting there. It's just it modifies a lot to Florida. So as we talked about, we're looking at possibly into the 50s for Friday morning into Florida for much of Florida, not just the Panhandle, but even extending down into say or Orlando area, possibly into the 50s by the time we wake up on Saturday morning, and that probably just extends into Sunday as well. So you're still experiencing those 50s, if not 40s, in the Panhandle. So there's definitely some colder temperatures on the way. And let's get into Monday here. Even Monday has 50s, and that colder temperatures extends. These are morning lows, not highs. I mean, but a lot of times you get into the 70s for morning lows. So a good 10 to 15 to drop in Florida is not out of the question. And even like I said, Monday I'm looking at Florida here. I mean, 40s in the Panhandle, but I mean getting all the way down, even close to Miami could be down to almost 60 degrees. So even all the way down to the south. So that cold air goes, it just it'll be, and then by Tuesday, yeah, even by Tuesday, let's see, Tuesday. Yeah, so you're going to be experiencing those colder temperatures for several days. Even into Tuesday, I'm seeing temps in the 50s as well into Florida. So you're definitely going to be seeing those colder temperatures hang on for at least a couple days, and by Friday they start to moderate. Yeah, I'm saying Wednesday. By Wednesday they start to moderate, and by Thursday they really moderate a lot. Then you're back up into the 60s, almost 70-degree low temperatures. So yeah, you got some cooler temperatures coming. This has been the coldest winter in Central Florida. Yeah, Florida started off cold. I mean, like the first half of winter, it was I think almost the coldest in 20 years for the first half. It has been warmer in the second half, but overall, there have been times where it does cool down. So it's been overall colder this winter than a lot of winters for sure. It's been trending for a few days now that's another Arctic blast is coming in late March to early April. Yeah, I mean there are some signs. We're still looking at the MJO going into some colder phases. It's been kind of stuck. We've been looking at some of the teleconnections. So it's not off the table, but getting into that's about 2 weeks away. So it's hard to justify if it's actually going to happen when it's 14, 17 days out. But yeah, by then Arctic blast is relative what Arctic blast would mean. So most people hear Arctic blast and it's the middle of January and it's really really cold. So the anomalies might be 20 degrees below normal, 25 degrees below normal, but when your average high is say 70, that puts your high as say 50, right? And so it doesn't have the same impact as it would say in the middle of January when it would be 35 degrees for a high temperature versus 50-degree high temperatures and the same anomaly, right? But yeah, it's not out of the question. It's definitely not out of the question. It could happen. Yeah. So yeah, high resolutions model showing severe storms only around Charlotte and then hugging the coast. A lot of the enhanced areas may not be seeing anything. The HRR says. Yeah, the latest HR. Yeah, I was looking at the 3K NAM, but I haven't looked at the HRR in a couple hours. But yeah, I would imagine. Hey, I appreciate your help with that. Um, yeah, the latest. Let me look at the latest HR myself. Um, yeah, so okay, yeah, that's along the coast. Yeah, it's pretty quick. Yeah, definitely a quick moving, and it's out of here. Yeah, so we might it might not be that bad. Yeah, so we're watching this storm. We're watching these storms right here, but that makes a beeline fairly quick into later on this evening. Yeah, it's implying everything's off the coast by say 10, 11 o'clock tonight. So we got another 9 hours before we can say the coast is clear for everybody, even off the coast here. So you think Georgia will get tornadoes? It looks like the most part, it depends on where you are in Georgia, but Atlanta's probably fairly clear. Yeah, Atlanta's definitely clear. As we zoom in, Macon, you're still warm, but a lot of the instability is past. There's still some instability here around Athens, here going to Martinez. But yeah, some of the where the 70s are hanging on here, that's where you could still have that instability, but it's not great. So it doesn't look too bad for Georgia. Most of this is moving into Savannah. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning heading off into Savannah. That's still active. So yeah, but for the most part, I wouldn't say you're 100% in the clear, but you're a good 90% for sure. Yeah, so far we've seen one tornado warning issued just in the last as I've been live here for about over an hour now during this time frame. So this is where the tornado watch has been indicated between now and 5 o'clock for the next 3 hours here. So that's the area of concern at the moment as these storms are kind of rolling in. I'm in a tornado watch in Florida. Yeah, you're down here by Jacksonville, probably down here to the south. Yeah, there's a small piece still in a tornado watch. Gainesville to Jacksonville to Lake City, and this that possible tornado that we talked about. That's radar indicated currently right now, and that's lifting off into the northeast at a pretty good clip at 36 miles an hour. So that's moving off to the northeast at 36 miles an hour. It's got 60-mile-per-hour winds with it and 0.75-inch hail as people in the path are Bell and High Springs here, getting into Lake Butler as well. This will eventually make it into the McClenny area and eventually into Jacksonville before it probably heads off and runs off into the ocean here. So yeah, there's parts of Florida still under that tornado watch, and they're still under a threat as this will continue lifting off into the northeast over the next hour or two. Tornado watch number 41 has just been issued. That's 40. Oh, there it is. That's popping up. All right. So they went ahead and they're watching these storms right here coming into the Charlotte area. This is a new tornado watch that was just been issued. Tornado watch number 41. There's going to be hail, maximum size up to 1.5 inches with this particular watch coming up between now and 5 o'clock. Wind gusts could reach up to 65 miles an hour, as these storms will be moving at 46 miles an hour to the northeast. So we're watching these storms coming into Greenville right now, and that's why they went ahead and implemented that tornado watch over the next several hours, as they're concerned about these storms moving into that 70-degree higher dew points and higher instability atmosphere. That's going to be tapping into that atmosphere and could produce some damaging hail, some higher wind gusts up to 65 miles an hour, and then you have that isolated tornado threat. So they went ahead and issued that tornado watch for that does include the Charlotte area. So we probably have another 2 to 3 hour window that we're going to have to be concerned about in and around the Charlotte, North Carolina area as these storms approach from the east. I live 20 minutes downtown from Greenville. Yeah, so you're probably here. You're right on the doorstep. Yeah, these storms are in let's see, Anderson. They're in Forest City. Places in its path are Spartanburg, getting into Woodruff, as well as Donalds, and Calhoun and Alberton areas. And you can see some of these as it was like more green, and so we're definitely seeing a little bit more yellows here and a little bit more reds as this continues to possibly getting a little bit stronger as this moves off to the east. But yeah, currently right now there's not a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning with this storm. They just issued a severe thunderstorm, a tornado watch number 41. Did it just drop in Charlotte? I thought it was warmer. It's 68 degrees. The dew point is 63. The winds are at 17 miles an hour. So you can see the difference. I mean, that's not too far away. It's 54 in Shelby and 68 in Charlotte. That's a 14-degree difference. And that can't be that far away. Yeah, I mean, so you can see that if the storms are, this strong right now in the 50s, when temperatures are in the 50s, you can imagine there'll be a lot stronger as they tap into the 70-degree temperatures here. That is a 15, 18-degree swing as this will continue moving across, and these temperatures may even be a tad bit warmer by the time it actually makes it here. North Florida getting the squall line now. Thanks for doing the great job. Hey, no problem, Daniel. I appreciate your support. All right. Is there more severe weather after this system moves through? No, it'll be clear after the system moves through. Oh, you're talking about the one in North Carolina? Yeah, let's zoom out for you. There's not much going on back behind it. So that's why they only issued this until 5 o'clock. So this is just over the next couple hour window that you're going to have to be concerned about this, because temperatures have dropped back behind it, and then you'll get into the nighttime hours. Yeah, dew point is 63, pretty good for a severe storm. Weird, the watch was issued that far southwest. Yeah, that's true, because there's no tail. I mean, there's no tail to this. I mean, it goes all the way to Martinez, and these are actually moving northeast. To Augusta. Oh, all the way to Augusta. Unless they think it's going to back build, because it's still in the 70s here. Unless they think it's just going to back build here a little bit. Sun's been peeping through the clouds here in Clinton, North Carolina. Yeah, that's typically not a good thing to see the clouds. I mean, to see the sun in days like this. Will Raleigh get hit badly? Well, like I mentioned, they're under that severe thunderstorm threat later on tonight. So nothing pressingly current at the moment, but you are under an enhanced risk, and you do have that tornado threat. You have the hail threat. You have a wind threat. So you have all three modes of severe threat, and these storms are still a ways away from you. But yes, you do have a threat later on today. National Weather Service will cut the watch when that line moves through, so I'm not surprised it was issued that far, I guess. Temperatures are 50-ish in Krause, North Carolina. Yeah, up here they're in the 50s here. That's under that rain cooled air too as well. Yeah, very windy in Gainesville. That's the system that's approaching. That's that possible tornado watch that we've been kind of highlighting. Let's see. Sorry, I'm having to keep jumping around here. Yeah, down here in Gainesville. Yeah, so you're still under that tornado watch all the way down to the south. And so you're kind of watching these storms here. You're probably getting the outflow from these storms currently at the moment, with maybe a gust front that's coming, what you're experiencing. But this current storm is lifting north of you, so that's not going to be impacting you. If you get anything, it'll be down here in this area. So we'll just have to see if this fills in. Cold weather is keeping the outbreak at bay. Yeah, more or less. Yeah, definitely more or less. Definitely cooler temperatures in the picture than what they were thinking earlier yesterday. At Warsaw, Virginia, a little cooler weather this afternoon. Yeah, so you're experiencing some cooler temperatures from the north as well. So you're getting impacted from the south and the north. But eventually it all works the same. You'll all cool off. Yeah, looking at the short range mesoscale guidance, it definitely looks like about say 9-10 o'clock this evening. Most of the stuff will be off the coast, so we just have a window there of another 7-8 hours before everybody's almost in the clear. It doesn't look like a midnight 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock event that you have to worry about. Most of the stuff's going to be out in the ocean by then, and you'll experience some of that cooler temperatures. Roxborough, is that in North Carolina? Yeah, Roxborough, North Carolina. Yeah, I mean, so most of North Carolina is under that enhanced risk of storms, and we're just waiting for this line to come in. Yeah, from Jacksonville to Wilmington to Elizabeth to Raleigh to Charlotte. Yeah, so if we zoom out here, here's North Carolina, and we're watching this line right here get active as these press off to the northeast as well. But yeah, you can see the severe threat. I mean, there's a little bit left in Florida. There's some in South Carolina, getting into North Carolina. But here's your severe threat. I mean, it's getting less and less likely in Virginia as cooler air continues to press. So we're looking at this window here, and this will shrink, and then once this passes, this shrinks. Pal Ponder, do you think it's a chance that we'll see a tornado outbreak worse than yesterday's tornadoes in April? I mean, yeah, I mean, it's one of those years of the instability. I can't guarantee it. I mean, April is your highest tornado month out there for most of the states. So I can't guarantee an outbreak, but on times like this, this particular season's looks like it's going to be a little bit more active than other seasons. So, yeah, I mean, we had 27 tornadoes so far that I've seen from yesterday. Let me update it here. Yeah, still looks like 27. They're keeping it at 27 so far. That's what it was earlier. And so far today, there's been one. It looks like so far today, there's been one confirmed touchdown tornado, which was near June Road in northwest Pierce County. So far, 4 trees down, and they're accessing further damage. So it looks like there was 2 northwest Pierce, Georgia. There was a confirmed tornado touchdown earlier today, but so far there's been one. There's been one tornado and 27 yesterday, so that makes 28 so far in this outbreak. Which honestly, that's not that bad. I mean, considering what we were up against or what we were looking like, I mean, I was thinking 100, which would be, a lot. But considering we had 15 hours of PDS watches yesterday and high risk and even moderate today, it was looking like it was probably close to 100. So 28 is very good. And we're not done with today, but 28 is very good considering what we were looking at just 2 days prior of what we were up against. Charlotte, North Carolina just issued a tornado watch. Yes, that was a tornado watch 41 that we went over. That's the storm that's going to be having max hail between now and 5 o'clock of 1.5 inches, wind gust up to 65 miles an hour. That system coming in from the east here, from the west here, that's moving at 46 miles an hour. So that's the storm they're concerned about, and that's why they went ahead and issued the watch. Yeah, up to 73 degrees now and done. And Jerry, it's warming up. Yes, a couple of 77s now. We got more 77s popping up now. 77 in Kingston, North Carolina. There's Fayetteville. There's Clinton. There's Mount Olive. I've been to North Carolina a couple times. I've been in Myrtle Beach. I've been to Raleigh. I've been to Greensboro. I've been to Charlotte. It's been years. I was in Savannah a couple years ago. Down in Tybee Island there. All right. Yeah, so far we got 27 tornadoes yesterday, one today. There's not currently a tornado warning out currently at this moment. There are 2 tornado watches that both looks to expire at 5 o'clock. This is number 40. This is number 41. I've been to Tybee. Very nice there. It was nice. It was definitely nice in Tybee. I ran the Savannah Marathon there a couple years ago. We're going to have any tornadoes in the spring in Florida. Yeah, you can't roll it out. Yeah, you definitely can't roll it out. Yeah, spring tornadoes. I mean, we're going into the most active time, right now between, I would say the next 10 weeks is historically we're going into, severe weather season, more or less. You got to be watching for systems as they come across. So the two time frames, after this moves out, we're really looking at next week. So by the time we're looking at next week, it might start get active again in Dallas by the time, Monday night into Tuesday. And then that same system will start is kind of swinging across the south by into Tuesday into Wednesday, and by Wednesday and Thursday. So after this clears out, you'll have at least several days before the next system will move through. So we'll just have to see, how much we warm up by then, and how much instability is in the atmosphere. But yeah, right now I'm looking at Tuesday and I'm looking at Thursday. Our days of interest for severe weather next week. Hi, Faye Weather. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Frank. How are you doing? Hey, thanks for watching my feed. Yeah, so I'm looking out my window here. I'm in Dallas myself. It's 54 degrees. It's definitely cold. It's windy too. I mean, it's definitely windy from yesterday. But you can see what's coming. We were experiencing the storms yesterday morning earlier on, from about 3 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning. And that quickly moved off to the east. And that's what we covered yesterday. And now they're continue moving off to the east. And this will eventually get off the coast here by 10 o'clock tonight. And it'll be clear after that. We talked about could be some possibly rain change into snow in parts of the Northeast for tomorrow. I mean, look at the temperatures here. I mean, you got widespread teens in the southeastern Canada, but the temperatures are dropping here. You probably already reached kind of your highs of the days. Temperatures are dropping down here from the north, And as we go throughout the day, this rain will continue to fall. But as we get into the evening hours, into say midnight time frame, we'll start to see a little bit of a transition to kind of a wet snow. But by the time we wake up tomorrow morning around 6 a.m., I do feel like there could be a window there, just taking advantage of the coldest part of the day, and there's still precipitation around as cold air will continue to press. I feel like there's going to be some snow flying up here in the northeastern states, getting into places, say Connecticut and Massachusetts, and portions into Boston and Rhode Island here. So I do feel like you could transition to more of a wet snow in places into southern PA there, and with some cold air damming as that cold air continues to press southward. It's not out of the question you could see even some wet snow as far south as getting around this region. So with that cold air damming, I do feel we have a quick transition. It won't last long, and it probably won't stick, but that'll be a quick transition as you rebound. So more or less a wet snow. So I do feel like there's about a 3 to 6 hour time frame tomorrow morning. So don't be surprised if you live in the Northeast to see some snow, especially as you get closer to the I-95 corridor here. 67 in Suffolk, Virginia, waiting for severe weather this afternoon. I would say you're probably right on the cusp. They have lowered the threat. Okay, you're right up here. Let me zoom into Virginia. There's Virginia Beach. There's Raleigh. Harrisburg. There's DC. Roanoke. Yeah, you're under that slight risk of severe weather later on this evening. Or is it Suffolk? There it is. I found you. Yeah, you're hanging on at 68 degrees. Yeah, you're right on the cusp of that enhanced and slight. I mean, and then marginals here. So yeah, so your severe threat's way later on this evening. It's hot over here, around 87 right now. Hey, Louisiana Swap, coming in at you. Hey, I appreciate the super sticker. You're awesome. Hey, I appreciate everyone's support. Yeah, I like going live. This is cool. It's not nearly as active as yesterday, so that's a good thing. Yesterday was kind of crazy. Definitely crazy today. So yeah, so far we only seen one confirmed tornado that was in Pierce earlier. Thank you, Louisiana Swap. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was in Pierce, Georgia, earlier on today. We had a confirmed touchdown. So far, they said 4 trees are damaged, but obviously they're still doing the survey. But it was enough to say, hey, we definitely had a tornado touch the ground. 55 degrees, probably the best thing. Yeah, that's good. At least it isn't that bad. Yeah, for sure. It's not nearly as bad as what we were thinking this time yesterday. Is the storm coming to South Carolina? Because I heard it's going to North Carolina. I got called out for work. I'm trying to figure out why it's not coming into South Carolina. Well, there's two watches. There's still tornado watch into Savannah. Going into there's a new tornado watch. We're watching this line move through currently right now, heading towards the Charlotte area as this continues moving in. And all these storms down here are lifting off into the north to the northeast. I wouldn't say it's not coming. It just hasn't gotten here. Very interesting. Living in Jamaica and used to hurricanes, these tornadoes look very destructive. Yeah, absolutely. The thing about hurricanes is, for the most part, you know it's coming. These things, the hurricanes are well predicted. Usually they're out in the middle of the ocean, and you can actually see it coming. You get to prepare for them. You get to do whatever you can to prepare for that. But tornadoes, a lot of times, even though, yes, you have tornado watches and you have tornado warnings, but a lot of times they can come out in a moment's notice. You never know when these things are going to drop. So yeah, you definitely have a lot less preparation for a tornado than any hurricane. But a lot of times, yeah, they can do just as much damage. Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, so we're watching these storms and off to the west of Charlotte here as they warm to 68 degrees now. So we're just watching the intensity of these storms as it gets a little bit closer here into Charlotte. Later on in an hour or two. Ohio, Seth. Ohio's back in. Here's Ohio. We're in the 40s here. Just sporadic rain showers moving through. Yeah, so we're well into the 30s and 40s here and into Ohio. Doesn't look that bad. We'll be cooling off. You'll be freezing tonight. A lot of you in Ohio would wake up in the 20s tomorrow morning. Yeah, this is just a kind of a chilly rain here in Pennsylvania, getting into New York. Most of it's south of into the Mid-Atlantic. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, a 40-degree rain is cold. No matter where you live. I know when it's 40 here and rain, and it is cold. So I'd rather take a yeah, the weather we typically get, we hardly ever get the snow in Dallas, even though it did finally snow this year, but we had to face an Arctic outbreak of mammoth destruction. But typically it's a 35-degree rain. It almost happens every time. Every time it gets cold, it's not going to snow. It's going to be a 35-degree rain. And those are the worst. I'd rather it to snow. If it's going to be that cold, I'd rather it snow. Hey, Julia. BTS. I'm not sure who you're talking about. No, it kind of snowed. Not really. At least it was sleeting. Oh yeah, freezing in KC. Yeah, I think you picked up a little bit of a wet snow yesterday, this morning, over into the overnight this morning. Yeah, it's 45 degrees in KC, and just south of you, it's 39. So that's definitely some colder air. Oh, New Jersey. Yeah, so you're up here in New Jersey here. So you're experiencing a colder rain. that you got from earlier, and like I mentioned, you could have a little transition uh, to a kind of a wet snow, maybe a 3 to 6 hour period in portions later on tonight into the evening, into the overnight. I'm in New York and it's raining hard. Yeah, you're up here getting that rain that's pressing south. As you can see the colder temperatures to the north of you, and that's those colder temperatures will press south. But yeah, you're just as cold as in KC as you are in New York. Which tornado outbreak was worse, Texas Panhandle or Mississippi? Mississippi by far. Yeah, there were 17 tornadoes in the Panhandle, and so far there's been 27 yesterday and 1 today. So Mississippi, Alabama, so far there's been 27, and that's not a final number. They're still assessing damage. Hey, you're back, Ben Weather Channel. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming back with me. It's raining here in southern Massachusetts. Yeah, you can see into the northeast here. You're getting some chillier rain into Massachusetts. But as this lifts up, like I mentioned, we could see a little changeover tonight to some snow in portions of the northeast, especially in Massachusetts. So you would not be surprised if you wake up tomorrow morning and probably see some little wet snow on the ground. Because all of you are in the 20s. You're all in the 20s. Next storm coming from the west might bring more severe weather. Hey, Gail, how are you doing? Yes, that definitely looks like a possibility, Gail, next week. I think you're talking about next week. Next week is Tuesday and Thursday are days I'm probably watching right now. And Savannah. Have they issued it? I'm in Savannah, Ross. Georgia. It's close to it. How's it going to be in South Carolina? I'm in the area. See 2 inches. The 2 inches of snow. Where's the tornado warning? There it is. Yeah, it looks like there's a radar tornado warning implemented until 2:15 right by Savannah. That's moving at 40 miles an hour, moving off to the east. So let's zoom in here. They're looking at this area of concern. It looks like right around here, there's some instability. It's going to be lifting off into the northeast. So areas in the path are Newberry here, getting into portions of Gainesville, as well as Stark. And this will eventually lift off into Penny Farms and Lakeside. So this was a severe thunderstorm warning, but the National Weather Service has changed it to a tornado warning currently because of this cell right here that's showing some rotation, radar indicated rotation, and that's lifting off to the northeast between now and the next 25 minutes. So areas in the path need to take cover in Newberry, into High Springs, into Gainesville, as well as Stark, and that'll get into Middleburg and the Lakeside area. So that is your area of concern. That is the second tornado warning since I've been broadcasting, because there was one there was one earlier, and they did have a tornado that touched down in Pierce, Georgia, that did some tree damage, and they're still assessing the damage. Hey, Ezra, how are you doing? I'm new, and I just noticed a weather warning. Yeah, so this is the weather warning that we're talking about right now here, and portions of Savannah as this continues moving off into the northeast, into Newberry, as well as Gainesville and to Stark, and then High Springs will also be in that severe threat and tornado warning threat for the next 25 minutes. So let me zoom out here. Yeah, so all these storms, this is the line of area of concern that see how close it is to the coast now. So you're good in Tallahassee, you're good back behind in Columbus. We're just watching these storms right here. I mean, all on this band. So right ahead of it, that's where the instability is, and so we're just watching these new storms form at ahead of this as it starts to move off the coast here. So we have about another hour or two that we have to be concerned on this area as these storms will move in. Yeah, there's two current tornado watches right now. There's number 40 and number 41. This is number 40, and up here is number 41. That takes place into Columbia as well as Charlotte, getting into the North Carolina region, and down here closer to the south, which will encompass parts of Florida into Georgia as well as South Carolina. This looks like it's a new cell into Spartanburg here. There's a new tornado warning. Radar indicated, another radar indicated. This one's moving northeast at 37 miles an hour. So locations in its path would be Bowling Springs into Chesney, as well as Spartanburg. It's pretty much right on top of you. And then into Gaffney, this will go into portions of Boiling Springs, as well as Grover, as well as Shelby. So Shelby into Kings Mountain. This storm is going to be in your path over the next, between now and 2:15. So for the next 30 minutes, those areas will be under the gun for a potential tornado. That's radar-induced tornado that's lifting off into the northeast at 36 miles an hour. What's more wind in Brownsville gets daily to get windy? Yeah, these things are moving quick. Yeah, most of these storms are moving quick. Yeah, it's got 0.75 inch hail to it. So it started at 137. So for the last 9 minutes, they warned this system, and this is lifting off into the northeast at 37 miles an hour until now and 2:15. So you can definitely see from Wellford all the way to almost to Grover. It covers that much real estate just within that 30-minute time span of this warned system. So definitely take shelter if you're in that area between now and then, because this looks like a possible tornado, at least radar indicated tornado that's heading your direction. So we got a couple active tornado warnings currently right now. That's a new storm. That's a new potential. Oh, I think that might be a potential issuance. Yeah, this is a potential watch. It has a 60% chance of this potential watch being issued from the Storm Prediction Center in northern Georgia, getting into west central North Carolina. This looks like a potential severe thunderstorm watch. The National Weather Service is looking at issuing over the next hour or so. Again, it's not a watch currently, but they're looking at these storms right here. It looks like they're trying to form, and it's tapping into some of the higher dew points in the atmosphere. Could create enough lift to have that severe thunderstorm threat and possibly a tornado threat in this area. So we'll just have to watch this area of concern. If these cells get any stronger over the next 30 minutes to an hour or so, for them to go ahead and issue that watch, as we still have some more instability as we're getting into a little bit more daytime heating now. Is it a bad idea to drive towards a tornado? Yes, absolutely. New York is safe from severe weather this time, but maybe not so lucky next time. That's true, Gail. Yeah, you're safe from severe weather from this event. Oh, your screen keeps freezing? Brookwood, Alabama yesterday, tornado warning after 2 tornado warnings. At one point, there was actually 3 tornadoes at the same time, just different locations. Crazy. Yeah, yesterday was a crazy day, for sure. I think when I was live, we had 8 tornado warnings happening at the exact same time. Right now, we've got 2. And I think we've only had 3 since I've been live for the last 2 hours. So, all right, let's go back down to the south here. We're looking at this storm back down by Jacksonville. This is heading off to the northeast. This is another tornado radar indicated tornado by Gainesville here. That's the area of concern we're looking at as this is shifting off into the northeast. Yeah, locations in the path are Newberry, getting into Gainesville, as well as Hampton. You can definitely see the temperatures are almost 80 degrees, so it's got plenty of instability to tap into, as this red sector is the area of concern with some, subtle hooks on radar as this continues lifting off into the northeast. The overall tornado watch is through 5 o'clock, and but we also have that severe thunderstorm warning, which is now a tornado warning, and that one's lifting off into the northeast at 40 miles an hour, and that will continue to do so. So locations in the path have to be concerned until 2:15 Central Standard Time. So yeah, so for the next 23 minutes, you're going to be in the path of that possible tornado as this continues lifting off to the east. Oh, you heard the tornado is on the ground currently right now? Yeah, it's moving at 41 miles an hour. It's had picked up a little bit of speed. Yeah, Alchua. Is that how you pronounce that? Alchua, lifting off into the northeast into Brooker, as well as Waldo and Stark. So if they're tornado on the ground, take cover in Alchuo, Waldo, Brooker, as well as Stark. With this tornado warned, possible confirmation tornado on the ground as this lifts off into the east at 41 miles an hour. Yeah, right now we're just getting confirmation of radar indicated. So, but yeah, either way, it's a dangerous storm. So you have to take cover with this storm as this continues lifting off for the next 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, if we zoom out, I mean, you can see this is the last piece of energy that has to move through, but it's sometimes on your southwest quadrant here, it can create a lot of the most instability as this continues lifting off into the east. But that's where it's going. So if you live, I would say in Jacksonville, definitely be on guard because you're 81 degrees now, especially like in Middleburg area. That whole system's heading your way, and you're a lot warmer up there. Hey, I appreciate the confirmation, Gail. Yeah, so we're looking at a possible tornado on the ground currently in Newberry and High Springs area, as well as Keystone Heights and into Stark, as this continues moving east at 41 miles an hour. So it is booking fast, heading your direction between now and it'll be in Stark possibly by 2:15. All right, so let's zoom out again and look at the big picture. All right, so if we look at the big picture here, you can see this tail of the storms. Here's your tornado watch that expires at 5 o'clock. There's your tornado warning right on the south side of that, and they're watching these storms move through to the east, and these are all almost hugging the coast now. So there's nothing back behind it. So once these storms clear your area, you're more or less good to go for the rest of the evening. So it's just the storms that haven't moved through yet. Those are the ones that we need to be concerned about. And then they have a potential watch up here. The Storm Prediction Center has looking at maybe wanting to issue of that a little bit more instability as this taps into. They have not issued it yet, but they have a 60% chance of a potential severe thunderstorm watch being issued for that area. That was earlier. So can Palm Beach get some of this storm? Palm Beach, Florida, Clearwater, Tampa. There's Sarasota, West Palm Beach. And you're probably too far south. No, I don't think so. What can we expect in Piedmont area of North Carolina? Yeah, so for the Piedmont area, North Carolina, you're under that enhanced risk for later on this afternoon. So here's North Carolina. It just hasn't, for the most part, it hasn't made it to North Carolina. We're watching these storms here out to the west here, approaching the Charlotte area over the next hour. And then that will continue moving off into Raleigh and the Lumberton and the Jacksonville and the Williamston. But this is later on this evening. So the latest high resolution models has the storms basically around here by 10 o'clock this evening. So we've got another 7 hours left before they'll make it off the coast. Basically, over the next 6-7 hours, we're watching the instability move through, and this is the back half of it. So all this has to come through over the next 7 or 8 hours. Yep. Yeah. So this area right here, I expect when these probably expire at 5 o'clock, they'll have a new tornado watch issued for North Carolina, I would imagine. And I would imagine that'll extend till 10. Will Greenville get hit? Yeah, Greenville, North Carolina. You're in the path. I can't guarantee it's going to get hit, exactly that particular city, but you're definitely, in the susceptibility of, severe weather over the next 5 to 6 hours for sure. So much snow in Colorado from this storm, like 3 feet. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, this wasn't technically the storm because there were 2 storms. The Colorado storm ended. Then there was another system that was a storm that dumped like an inch or 2 in Denver. This is that storm because this thing is moving so quick. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, there was a ton of snow in Denver. It ended up being 27 inches. Obviously, 4th biggest all time on record. And then you had a little bit more. And yeah, I think you get more snow in Denver. Like Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, you're back up to 49. Yeah, the weather changes a lot in Denver. Jumps up, jumps down, jumps up, jumps down. Yeah, late Sunday. Yeah, Sunday, Monday, into early Tuesday. So you got that other storm system. Yeah, that's the one, kind of the same path. Going to bring more snow to Denver, a little bit more snow to the Panhandle of Texas, probably more severe weather for the South and Southeast into Tuesday and Thursday next week. Tornado sirens just went off in Savannah. Yeah, that's the one that's indicated this storm right here. Oh, in Savannah. Jacksonville. Here we go. Sorry. Yeah, so this radar indicated tornado is moving at 26 miles an hour. This is a new tornado warning for the Savannah, Georgia area. This one's lifting off and to the northeast as well at 26 miles an hour between now and 2:30 for these areas into Savannah. This is lifting off into the Bluffton area as well as Hilton Head. And you can kind of see the path. That's why the sirens have gone off. It's going to be making direct impact with Savannah here shortly, probably the next 5 to 10 minutes. So if you live in that area, you need to be in your safe zone for this potential tornado that is indicated on radar as this is moving in your direction over the next 5 to 10 minutes. It'll be in the Savannah, Georgia area. Probably around 2:10 time frame as the warnings are activating right now. It's probably on your doorstep and portions of Polar as this is still lifting off into the Bluffton area, and this will continue lifting off into the Hilton Head Island area. So all these areas need to take shelter for this potential tornado heading towards the Savannah area as this continues lifting off into the east at 26 miles an hour. Hey, Jack's Music, so glad you're doing this. Even the Northwest Service not even doing this. Weather Wave Pages isn't keeping up with this as well. Hey, you're welcome. Glad to be here. I'm happy to help. They probably didn't think it was an active day, but if there's a tornado in your backyard, it's active where you are. This should be put on Ring so others can see what's coming, or Nextdoor app. Sirens in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Can you tell us more? Let me zoom out. That was the other storm. Well, that was the same storm we were talking about into the Savannah. Heading towards Hilton Head. There's Polar as this is lifting off to the northeast. There's Richmond Hill areas, but Savannah looks like dead center, and it's heading right towards Savannah. If not right there on top of you right now, because this was issued at 2:02. So 4 minutes ago it was here, but it's probably on your doorstep right now in Savannah. Yeah, I would definitely take cover, Werewolf. This looks like it's right on top of you. Yeah, this is moving about 26 miles an hour. As this is lifting off into the northeast. So your Savannah is next in line, if not right on top of you right now. and then it will get into the Bluffton area, as well as Hilton Head, and then it'll eventually lift off to the northeast and Beaufort as well. Yeah, so if you live in those areas, you need to take you need to be in your safe zone right now, as that is the tornado warned radar on radar as this is lifting off into the northeast, and especially into the Savannah, Georgia area, as getting into Savannah, as well as South Carolina, and then getting into Hilton Head. Yeah, it's not nearly as bad as yesterday, Fox. But there are a couple of tornadoes for sure. Is it possible to outrun a tornado? I wouldn't want to. Depends on how fast it's moving. But this system's moving at 26 miles an hour, so I don't think you're going to outrun it. My friend said that it felt like an F1 tornado, and it's gone now. Hey, I appreciate the confirmation, Gail. Yeah, F1's that's upwards to 70, 80 miles an hour. 85. $86 to $110. Yeah, wind speeds is 65 to 85 is your EF1 speed. That's EF0, and then EF1 is 86 to 110. So it's probably somewhere in that neighborhood. We know it was at least 60 because that's what the winds were originally with the severe warning. But if there was a possible tornado, it was probably I don't want to guess because I don't even have any confirmation of that. I usually leave that up to the National Weather Service. No visible rotation around Savannah. Sirens no longer active. So it sounds like it might have been a brief touchdown, but we'll let the National Weather Service assess their damage and get total confirmation of what may or may not occurred. But definitely, where that path has been, it definitely looks like it's died down a little bit. And it's past Savannah now. Now the instability is heading towards Hilton Head. Hey, you're welcome, Tina. A hurricane god. A tree was split in half in his backyard, but that's the only damage. Wow. Okay. That could be straight line winds too. Downburst, microburst. I feel like this winter, Texas was hit badly. Yeah, I mean, I would say so. I mean, it was the first winter it actually snowed in Dallas since 2015. And we were below average. Emergency management reports a tornado in George Peace County. Yes, we did get confirmation of that there were at least 4 trees damaged, and they're still getting they're still assessing the damage, but that's been the one confirmed tornado that has happened today in Pierce. Yeah, and I'm just refreshing the storm reports, and it looks like that's the latest update. There has not been any additional so far confirmed. But this is an instant. I mean, it takes a while to update update the sites. So far we've had one tornado today, with a possible two. It's possible we had one in Savannah. Tina, you're awesome. Super sticker. Thanks for the $5 donation. It's greatly appreciated. So what I'm thinking is thought it was a tornado, but it kind of sounds like a microburst. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Tree split, could be a downburst wind, microburst, something of that nature. It's hard to guess right now. Either way, it did damage. That's what we're talking about. It did damage. Check Spartanburg, Central North Carolina is on the lookout. Yeah, Spartanburg is the one system that we highlighted. 306. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Alcoa. Yes, that was the severe thunderstorm that we talked about. Moving northeast at 45 miles an hour, possible tornado. Yeah, there was two possible. What's a microburst? It's essentially when it's a collapsing thunderstorm. Basically, you got some colder air rushing out ahead of it, and there's those winds aloft gets pushed down to the surface, so you can get extreme winds. What they call a quick microburst. It rushes down and that lifts. So it definitely sounds like with the trees splitting down, you had a quick burst of wind coming from the north, and it split the tree. So that's why Gail's thinking it's a microburst. Did you see the storm system move into the West Coast? Sirens are live again. Did it pop back up? There's some new instability down here to the south. Let's see what the National Weather Service says, but I think my friend was scared and he was just talking. Yes, the National Weather Service will do their damage control and see what may or may not be. But a lot of times an EF1, an EF0, a EF1, microburst, downburst, straight line wind, a lot of it can do just the same amount of damage. Sirens just went quiet now. Yeah, it's still implying there's possible, radar indicated tornado in this area. Yeah, and this goes on for the next until 2:30. So the next 10-15 minutes, this is still the area of the concern that we're focused on, lifting off into the northeast. But you can see the instability it's tapping into. So this may get extended as this continues lifting off. So if you're in the Hilton Head area and the Beaufort area, you need to be concerned of this radar indicated tornado lifting off into the east as this moves through. Oh, it's starting to snow in Buffalo, New York. Okay, cool. We're starting to see the transfer. Yeah, we're getting some colder air pushing in from the north. Fox Newton, hey, thanks for the confirmation. It's already snowing at 2:00. Yeah, we'll see if that dynamic cooling takes place and starts lowering those temperatures another 5 degrees. Now that it's starting to snow, you might see a temperature drop about another 5 degrees. I think that Raleigh is going to get the worst of the storm, hands down. Yeah, they definitely look like they might be in the path of the bigger event. But that'll be later on this evening. I'm in Aiken, South Carolina. So far, just strong winds. Hey, Crystal. Crystal. Yeah, chilly rain for me in Worcester. Yeah, you might see some transfer as well. It's getting colder throughout the day, especially into the evening. Oh, I said it right the first time. Crystal. Okay. Hello. Rain, the Dragon, Tremor, Greenville. Yeah, so we're in Greenville, North Carolina. So let's go back up to Greenville. Yeah, you're back here at 77 degrees. So you've got that enhanced risk that you're going to have to be concerned about later on this evening. And the high resolution models, I mean, they have a lot of the instability in your area later on, 6, 7, 8 o'clock time frame. Yeah, right now there's no tornado watch for your area, but I would imagine as these expire at 5, this just continues and probably be issued. This would more likely be tornado watch number 42 issued. Let's see. We got a severe thunderstorm warning heading towards with some large hail to it, 1-inch hail, and Charleston. This system was warned at 2:11, going till 2:45. It's hard to tell where this. Lexington. Yes, looks like there's another severe thunderstorm warning from this by north of Knoxville. This also has some 1-inch hail getting into north of Morristown, Middleborough. This one has some 60-mile-per-hour winds to it as well, lifting off into the northeast at between now and 3 o'clock. This tornado, not tornado warning, but severe thunderstorm warning for this cell right here has some 60-mile-per-hour winds to it, heading towards Duffield and Big Stone Gap. Yeah, that's a cell that just popped up. Yeah, so normally a lot of times where you can see some isolated activity and not within a line, they can be discrete, and you can have some severe thunderstorms pop up. There's a new one south of Charlotte here. This also has some 1-inch hail to it. This also goes till 3 o'clock by the Woodruff area, lifting off to the east into Hickory Grove, into Union, south of Charlotte. There's Spartanburg. It's you're north. It's south of you in Spartanburg. I think for the most part, it's past you. I mean, you already cooled down to 59 degrees. There's Greenville at 66. So this is the back edge of the storms that you have to be concerned about, as this is also lifting off into the northeast. And that'll be heading into Sharon, and it's only tapping into some warmer temperatures, getting into Rock Hill, and then eventually head towards the Charlotte area. Yeah, it's cooled to 55 in Shelby. That's an 18-degree swing. So yeah, your window's closing in Charlotte. I mean, once this passes, there's not going to be much. There's nothing building back behind it. Wearing my auto t-shirt right now, friends and family there. Anyone in the Carolinas, if you can do so, please send a video and pics of the storm. Yeah, for the most part in Spartanburg. Yeah, I mean, you're 59 degrees. It's already passed. That severe thunderstorm is south of you, and it's not moving your direction. And there's nothing. Most of these are lifting east to northeast, and there's nothing back behind it. So I think you're in the clear. Yeah, there's Greenville at 68. And there's nothing back behind it. I mean, look, I zoom out. I mean, there's nothing. It's pretty clear. Yeah, so it's past Greenville, and it's pretty much past Spartanburg as well. You know, for the most part, you're right on the back half of it. There's not much left. And it's moving more east rather than southeast. I mean, rather than northeast. So Jonesville's in the path of this severe thunderstorm warning, with some 1-inch hail to it, heading towards the Lockhart area, into Hickory Grove as well as Union. Because it's moving so fast, Rain. Yeah, these storms are booking it. So it passed you before you knew it. So let's zoom back out again. Yeah, here's Raleigh. Myrtle Beach. By the coast here. There's Savannah. Looks like that storm died down in Savannah. So that's good. That's died down. And this is almost off the coast. It won't be that long before this is just continues moving off into off the coast there. Even into Jacksonville. Yeah, here's that bigger cell, that tornado warning through 2:30. So that continues for another couple minutes. We'll see if that's able to get reissued or let it expire. My website's Ponder on Weather. It doesn't have a radar or anything. It's let's see. Yeah, go check it out. ponderonweather.com. It's got a lot of my affiliated products I have. I've got my own rain gauge, Pal Ponder on Weather rain gauge. I've got a weather station. I got a weather radio. I got an emergency travel kit. Just all things you might need for to keep you safe and keep you well aware of the weather. I've got anatomy of storm, some of the terminologies that I use on there, what the definitions mean, kind of stuff like that. I'm looking at an app. I'm looking at getting an app. I'm adding stuff. But yeah, there's an about me section on there, so you can read all about me and how I got started in the weather and everything. How severe are the ones heading into High Point or Greensboro area? Hey Celeste, how you doing? Thanks for watching on here. I know I always see you comment on the channel. Thanks for coming on live with me. Okay, so we asked about Greensboro? High Point in Greensboro. High Point in Greensboro. I think it's south. There's Columbia. South of Charlotte. Raleigh. Greensboro. Here we go. Okay. It doesn't look too bad right now. This is just some cold 50-degree rain heading your way. And you're not very warm either. It's only 61 there. Can't be too bad. There's not much instability with this. It shouldn't be too bad in Greensboro, because all these are lifting off more or less to the east. That's why I think Raleigh is going to get worse than you are. No, Charlotte's definitely not in the clear yet, for sure. You're at 73 degrees, and we're still waiting for all this instability back here to come through. No, you're waiting in Charlotte, Michael. Yeah, here's Charlotte right here. You're under tornado watch till 5. And these have had a history of producing at least radar tornadoes, severe thunderstorm warnings. So we're waiting. You have to wait for this instability to come through still. Right now it's in Shelby. So that'll just give, kind of give you an idea of how far away that is. But once that system passes, then you're good. Columbia, South Carolina. Yeah, it looks like this one has a little bit more instability to it by Packlet. This one could by Jonesville here. This one could be starting to show signs of rotation here, heading towards the Hickory Grove area and Lockhart, as well as Union. So these are the areas that possibly might have a funnel trying to form out of this area. These are all lifting off into the east, about 30 miles an hour. But yeah, coast is clear in Spartanburg. Yeah, I would definitely be on the safe side and take cover if you're in by Union and by Buffalo here. And Hickory Grove and York and Lockhart areas, there might be a possible tornado trying to form out of the system. (2021) will be a historic year. I mean, a tornado outbreak, a major polar vortex, aka most historic snowstorm, 6 feet of snow in Wyoming. Will we have an historic hurricane season? Yes, I'm predicting. I don't know about historic. Can't predict historic that far in advance, but definitely an active season. I'm calling top 5 right now. All right. Yeah, so there's the cell we covered in South Carolina. That's the area that has to be concerned about. If we turn down to our south here by Newberry, looks like another area of concern with a until 2:45 of a possible tornado by Newberry. As this is lifting off into the northeast, it looks like some of the instability has died down. That was as of 2:19. But this area, this is the area of interest, a possible rotation heading off into the Newberry area. I'd eventually get into portions of Winsboro as well as Chester here. But yeah, we're getting into the 2:30 time frame now. We're getting into the for the next 2 hours, the hottest part of the day. Did they update it? No, still one confirmed tornado. And there's been 7 total reports. 5 of them been wind, 1 tornado, and 1 hail report. Yes, La Nina. La Nina keeps to be hanging tight. La Nina looks to be with us the rest of the year. All right, so let's zoom out here. Yeah, that squall lines looks like it's taking a little bit better shape here as this continues moving off. Yeah, once this moves off the coast, then we'll really just have to be concerned about this area, because this will continue moving off into the east and northeast, and this will be out in the middle of the ocean. So it's really this. I mean, after all this moves off, which is not that far away now. Let's see if they put out their 2:30 update, the Storm Prediction Center. No, it's still 11:30. They haven't updated yet. I would imagine they'll update in the next 30 minutes. Yeah, storm's moving faster than predicted. It definitely seems like it. I mean, it's literally almost off the coast here. I mean, look, you were dealing with that threat in Savannah earlier. It's almost offshore. St. Mary's, there's Jacksonville. I mean, we still have this area concerned of this possible tornado down to the south here. And that'll be heading towards Jacksonville, but there's nothing behind it. There's nothing forming behind it. Yeah, that one is moving at 40 miles an hour until 2:45. So that's just almost about to expire here in the next 5 minutes. And that's moving at 40 miles an hour towards the Layton area. That's got some 60-mile-per-hour winds to it. And this one back behind it still has that possible tornado, which would be in this area right here, right around Stark that we talked about earlier. I got the severe warning in Newberry, South Carolina. Getting the big storm here in East Tennessee right now. Yes, there's a couple severe thunderstorm warnings out, Michael, up in Tennessee. Oh, Spartanburg did have a tornado storm chaser, caught it. Hey, I appreciate all the reports, Gail. See if I can find anything on Twitter. Oh, wow. That's the latest GFS model. SIPs. Trying to see. That'll move off the coast. Yeah, there's Tuesday and there's Thursday. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the latest guidance that we're highlighting for Tuesday and Thursday of next week, because all this clears out. You'll be clear for a while, but yeah, what I'm looking at for next week is some more severe weather as we get into this area, into Louisiana, getting into portions of Mississippi again, and Arkansas. That looks like around Tuesday timeframe of next week. And then as we get into the day on Wednesday, another possible shift a little bit further east into this region, and then again by Thursday. So we may be doing this all over again by next Thursday here in portions of the southeast. That is just something I have my eye on for next week. All right. Getting kind of dark here in Pickens. It's 73 degrees in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Is that bad for us? Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that's fairly warm, and you have all that instability still to come. Yeah, you're well in the 70s, so yeah, this is the area of concern you have to be looking out for later as this continues moving off to the east. Yeah, there's 2 tornado watches right here in purple kind. Essentially from Jacksonville all the way to Savannah still. And this other tornado watch, which is number 41 by Charlotte here. These are the 2 areas that go through 5 o'clock. Running out of things to say. No, I understand. Montgomery, Alabama. Oh, what's happening in Montgomery, Alabama? Nothing today, which is good. $66 degrees. Fairly nice. Yeah, but Fox Newton, it looks like Wednesday and Thursday are your days next week that you might be concerned about possibly more severe weather. So those are just something, it's Thursday right now, so you still have another 6-7 days before you really have to be concerned about any other severe weather after what moved through yesterday. Yeah, it looks like a possible another new tornado warning or this is the same one. Possible tornado with this area by Newberry. Yeah, severe thunderstorm warning with possible tornado at moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Has some 60-mile-per-hour winds to it. Areas in the path are Chapels, Newberry, as well as Whitmeyer. Whitney. Hey, Keith. Is Jacksonville still under the tornado warning until 4:10? Yeah, there's possible too. There's a severe thunderstorm warning and another severe thunderstorm warning with a possible tornado into the North Carolina area. Yeah, look how close it's gotten to Charlotte now. This is moving quick. All right, so let's expand the view. Yeah, here's over by Huntington here. Under that potential, there's a potential severe thunderstorm with some 1-inch hail here. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued at 2:43, goes until 3:30 Central Standard Time, and to portions of Harts heading towards the Madison area. This is not tornado warned. It just has some winds of 60 mile per hour, and then some 1-inch quarter-size hail to it. Yeah, you're clear in Spartanburg, mountain snow. Savannah. Yeah, here's Savannah. It's pretty much past Savannah. Yeah, Savannah more or less is in the clear. And this doesn't even look severe. And the Montgomery and the Tybee Island, this is almost off the coast. Yeah, we had a system in Savannah earlier, but that's all subsided. I mean, it's pretty much off the coast. It's clear in Savannah, and all this is just green. It's not even, doesn't have much instability to it. Yeah, that same system still severe. There's no possible tornado with it anymore. It's down here by the south by Stark, and getting into the lakeside as this continues moving off into the to the northeast as well. Locations in its path are Lakeside and Jacksonville Beach, Palm Valley areas, and Latte. No, everything's passed in Spartanburg. It's like 59 degrees, and you pretty much should be done in Spartanburg. I mean, it looks like you will get something, Michael and Charlotte. You're not in the clear yet. It's not that far away. I mean, right now it doesn't look. I mean, this is your area of concern of this storm right here that's lifting towards the Charlotte area. It might be just on the south side of Charlotte, but this would be your area of concern of this severe thunderstorm warned sail until 3 o'clock, and this will just get it extended. Yeah, so here's Spartanburg, 61 degrees. All the rain is past you, and there's nothing behind it. All right, so radar just updated. Looks like that storm in Newberry is continuing. That warned area is continuing until 3:15. This will lift off into the northeast as well, into portions of Chester, in and around the Newberry area. Yeah, Ohio is more or less a cold rain. Zoom up to Ohio. Yeah, so here's Akron, here's Mentor, there's Columbus. It's just a cold rain. What about Tege? I don't know where that is. So, check Savannah. Everything, yeah. Yeah, we were just down in Savannah. Everything's past Savannah. Everything's to the west of Savannah, and it's shifted off into the west. I mean, I'm sorry, to the east. Yeah, so this severe threat keeps continuing pushing off to the east as we kind of zoom out again. You see it's just almost off the coast. I mean, there's not much left here. Heading towards Jacksonville. This will be off the coast here shortly. And all this moves out. And really the only area of concern would be this line right here heading towards Charlotte, and it'll eventually get into more into North Carolina here. But overall, a lot of areas are are winding down. I mean, look at the bigger picture. Much of the country is not experiencing severe weather. It's just right along the East Coast here. Can I check Savannah? Yes, a lot of people have been asking me about Savannah. Everything's past Savannah. Everything's out of Savannah. It's gone. Yeah, we zoom into Savannah again. You're 70 degrees. All the rain is past. And there's not much left. I mean, this will be off the coast here shortly. Anna. It's 79 degrees in Brownsville compared to Jackson in the 80s, and it's storming. But yeah, that's the bigger picture. Yeah, let me zoom out again and give you an overview, because I'm gonna have to. It looks like it's 3:00 now, and I've got to pick up my son from school, and then I have a soccer game tonight. So it looks like what's going to be happening for the rest of the evening is we do have this tornado watch that continues through 5, but that's probably going to be expiring before it ends, because there's not much left. We do have that cell south in Jacksonville that's continuing to push off. So then once this moves out, this won't be an issue, and then we'll be concerned about this area up here, which is tornado watch number 41. That expires at 5:00, and more than likely the severe threat will continue pushing off into North Carolina here, and we'll see if there's a new watch being issued into Raleigh, getting into Jacksonville, which I would suspect there would be later on this evening. But more or less, all this will push off into off the coast by 8 or 9 o'clock for sure. This is moving fairly quick, so all this will clear out here shortly. Just have to get past the next couple hours, but yeah, that's the latest on the severe threat. So for now, I've got to sign off. I will be sign off for the rest of the evening, because I got to pick up my son, and I have a soccer game here in a little bit after that. So I appreciate you guys watching. I'll be doing my daily videos in the morning. I'll be putting out my new Outlook tomorrow morning as well, and obviously into the weekend. So after this has moved off the coast tonight, things are quietening down, at least on the severe weather front. And then the areas to watch for next week would be more like into the Tuesday, Thursday timeframe. So we got a couple of day break here for at least for severe weather. All right, y'all. Hey, y'all be safe out there, and enjoy your evening. And yeah, listen to all the watches and warnings out there. I appreciate all your support and subscribers on my channel, and definitely all the donations that happened in today. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all be safe, everyone. Bye-bye.